Oh my, I think I am live right now. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Valerie Nicole here, coming to you live from the suburbs of Washington, D.C. And today I want to talk to you guys about how you could finish cosmetology school in just 7 months. Now, mind you, I'm in the state of Maryland. So, disclaimer, these steps may vary depending on what state you're in. But I definitely wanted to talk about this because I realized, OMG, a lot of people struggle with getting through cosmetology school. Okay, myself included. So, just a quick background. When I first made the attempt to go to cosmetology school and complete that, I was 19 years old. This was shortly after my daughter was born, and I knew it was time to grow up, right? And I couldn't work where I had been working. I really needed to make some serious income. So I said, you know what? I see so many women out here, so many people out here making that happen in the cosmetology field. I knew I didn't want to go to college. By that time, I had already made up that decision. I didn't want to do it. I could have done it. I had graduated from with honors from high school. I had college credits already and everything. People were expecting me to be an actuary. I even thought that was going to be my path, but it turns out I just really fell in love with cosmetology instead. So, I went for a couple of months. I quit. No, it wasn't even a couple of months. I think it was for like a few weeks. I don't even know if it was a full month, and I quit. Um, and I was just like, I'm bored. I didn't know if I wanted to do this. I was just young and just didn't have, I didn't really have direction at that point. Okay. Okay. So then 4 years later, I was 23 and I said, okay, I'm going to try again. So I went to the school. Um, some of y'all may know it. It's called Hair Academy out in New Carrollton. Went to the school, talked with the education director, started looking into like financial aid, all that kind of stuff. What kind of grants could I get and stuff? I really didn't want to do loans if I didn't have to, but we got all that taken care of. And by then, I found out that I was pregnant. So I had to take it easy. And then it was a high risk pregnancy on top of that, just like my first one with my daughter. So it turns out I had to take a leave of absence. And then that turned into, okay, I guess I won't be coming back. So like that's life. Life happens. I get that, we all understand that life happens. But I'm going to give you some tips that will help you to get through school because after my son was born, right? I spent some time at home with him just like I spent time at home with my daughter. And then after a few years, when he was about 3, that is when, yeah, 2 or 3, that is when, things started to change for our family. Um, I was, we decided to call it quits. I was going through a very messy breakup. And so I was like, okay, now I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to be on my own. I really don't want to have to depend on anyone, um, especially when it comes to having my own financial freedom. So what can I do? So then I thought about it. Oh, yeah, go back to school. Go back to school. You could do that. But at this point, something was different. There was a shift. Okay. So when I had originally gone back when I was 19, you could not work ahead of your scheduled hours. But this time when I went back, you could. So I was like, sweet. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to school every single day. I'm going to get done as much as I possibly can. For as long as y'all's doors are open, I'm going to be there. You're going to see this face. So that's what I decided to do. So yeah, went back, got everything taken care of. And I started. And when I made that decision to go back to school and start all over again, they were not going to give me the hours that I had from all those years ago. So I had to start fresh. And when I did that, throughout that whole process of just getting enrolled, I had sat down with my mom because I left my husband. We broke up, and I needed to stay with my mom for a little while. And she was like, "Okay, what do you need from me?" And I said, "Well, Mom, I'm going back to school." And I want to finish cosmetology school. I am totally focused on this. I want to make this happen. I want to provide for my kids. Like, I'm ready. And I just need your help. Like, could you watch them for me? By then, my daughter was in, I think, kindergarten. Was it pre-K, kindergarten? I think he was in kindergarten by then. And my son was still like, he's in pull-ups, and I'm like, do you mind? And fortunately, my mom works from home. She's a court transcriber, so she does all her work from home these days. And she agreed to it. She said, listen, I got you. Whatever you need to make sure you hurry up and get done so you can get up out of here. She was like, whatever you need to get done, don't worry about it. You need me to, get Bree from the bus stop, watch traffic. Okay, cool. I got it. So I was like, yes. And I was like, I will not let you down. I will not let you down. And I didn't. I went every day, all day long. Now they had morning schedules, and then they had evening schedules. The evening schedules were more part-time, because I think that was like 20, 25 hours a week that you could do, where they were open from 5 to 9, I think, 4 days out of the week. And then all day Saturday was evening people's um, schedule. And then for daytime, you had several options. You could do part-time, semi part-time, or full-time. So it was either 25 hours, uh, 20 hours, 25 hours, or 30 hours a week that you could do. So you could stay from 9 to 1, or from 9 to 2, or 9 to 3, or no, wait. Yeah, 9 to 1, 9 to 3, or 9 to 5. I think that's how it was. So I was like, I want to stay as long as you're open. And they were like, well, we don't like to encourage people to sign up for a full-time schedule because, things happen, life happens, and then they have to, they can't do it. And then they have to go back down. And then it's all this paperwork. And I was like, listen, I want to be up out of here. So if you enrolled in the full time, right, the 30, 35 hours, I don't remember, but it was something like that. But if you enrolled in the full time, you were scheduled to graduate in about 18 months. And I was like, I'm not going to be here for a year. Y'all told me I can stay here beyond my time to kind of get ahead in my hours, or kind of like store them up just in case something did happen. That way I wouldn't have to take a leave of absence or anything like that, because those hours would fill in the time. I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to go for it. So I did. So I was at school every, let's see, Monday, Tuesday, and I believe Thursday, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. because they had the morning and the evening classes. So I stayed. I took a break at lunch at like 12 or 12:30, and then I took, that evening break that they give you. I forget what time that was. So I was fine. I had 2 half-hour breaks. And then Wednesdays, I think they didn't have, it was either Wednesday or Thursday. They didn't have evening class one day out of the weekday. But they were open for all day Saturday. So I went from 9 to 5 on those Wednesdays that they didn't have the evening classes, and then um, I went from 9 to 5 on Saturday when they were open. Something's flying around in here, you guys. Sorry, but anyway, so that's how I did it. That's how I did it. All day, every day, 9 to 9 when I could. And when they were only open 9 to 5, I went 9 to 5. So I didn't really have that much of like a social life. Didn't need one. I had kids I was raising. And it was like, I don't mind sacrificing, 8 to 12 months, knowing that this would open up the door for me to have more time with them in the future. I would rather do that than not have any time for them, for 20 years, So that's what I did. Now, here are some tips that I want to give you guys to help you out with that. Okay, so I actually wrote down a few notes just to make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, so number one is you got to have the right mindset. The phone will be ringing while I'm live. I hope y'all can't hear that. But number one is have the right mindset. You cannot walk into this with this idea of, oh, well, I'm in here to socialize and make friends. No, I did not go there to make friends. I barely spoke to anybody except my instructors, because I would go to them with any questions, concerns. If there was something I didn't understand in the textbook, I had to get my theory down. So I passed that test the first time. I had to get my practicals down. So I passed that test the first time. And if there was something, I wanted to make sure I had every step right, that I knew every detail. I took risks while I was in school. I tried different things, tried different techniques and methods. And this was actually after I had done an internship, an apprenticeship. I had done an apprenticeship in the past, which a lot of you know you could do that instead of going to school. But that is a required 2 years here in Maryland. And even though I actually went through that, by the end of it, I didn't feel confident enough to go take tests. I did not think I was going to pass. I didn't know anything on the state board stuff. I knew how to do hair, right? I knew how to go into a salon and do all the stuff that you're not really supposed to do, like put your chemical on the back of your hand when you got your gloves on and stuff like that. Like, you're not supposed to do that. But, I could do hair and I could get people in and out of a salon, but how could I be a licensed cosmetologist without taking the test, right? So that's a whole nother story. I might have to talk about that later. But anyway, so yeah, you have to have the mindset of, I'm going here to get my education. I am here to obtain my license. I need enough knowledge and skill out of this experience to go take my test and successfully pass the first time around, right? I need that right mindset. I'm not here to socialize. Not that I was rude to anyone. I wasn't rude to anyone. It's just that I didn't really talk a lot to, other classmates, because I was just so zoned in, right? So that brings me to my next tip. Next tip is, you want to focus. Focus. Okay. So you want to make sure that you follow one course of action until you're successful. So what I did, I would come in, we'd have theory class, we'd have the quick break, we jump right in to doing our practicals. I would practice, 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 especially the things that I knew were going to be on the state board test. I would practice that over and over and over and over again, which brings me to my next tip. Number 3 is consistency. You have got to get consistent. So when you're focused, when I finally said, no matter what, I'm going to do this for my kids. I'm going to keep up my promise to my mom that I was going to, stick this out. I'm going to commit and I'm going to do this. Okay. So commitment will be another one. Okay. So you want to commit and you want to be consistent. So I would go, and over again, I would just focus on, okay, I'm going to make this the most perfect roller set there is. I'm going to do it in 10 minutes. I'm going to, by the time I got on the floor and I was working on actual people that were coming in to get their hair done, by that time I was so ready. I was so ready. And even before I was on the floor, here's something that really helped me, and I hope it helps you. Make sure that everything that you do, you present yourself as if you're already in a salon and you already have your license. Maybe you already own your own salon. When you start to envision things like that, it makes it so much easier for you to stick it out and stay and be consistent. Because with me showing up every single day, with me, making sure that I held my composure, that I always acted in professionalism, even though all I was in school at the time. Even though I did those things, it really helped so much to train me and develop the habits that I was going to need to carry over into being in a salon. Okay, so that brings me to that fifth and final step: vision. Make sure you have a crystal clear vision of what you want. What do you want? I mean, beyond school, because this is where people get stuck. They go into school and they're like, yes, one day, when, right? One day I'm gonna have my license. One day I'm gonna be just doing hair. What are you gonna specialize in? Oh, I don't know. Okay, where are you gonna work? How many hours are you gonna work? Are you gonna own your own salon, your own suite, your own booth. You're gonna be an employee. You're gonna be an independent contractor. Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna start marketing the business? How, like, no, people don't really talk about those things, even though it's in the textbook. I'm like, it's in the textbook, but people don't have a clue a lot of times. And it's tough because, especially, these days, I'm Generation X, but you also got Generation Y, you've got millennials, and it's like these days we're seeing a shift in the times. We're seeing that traditional, work hard and go to school, get a degree that you end up not even using, or even though you're using it, you're not making anywhere near what they promised you when you signed up for those student loans. Hello, okay, things like that. It's difficult. It's difficult. To try to stick to what worked 50 years ago. It's not working these days because you've got so many hardworking people and they're struggling. And so a lot of times you see younger people or even older people like this. There's always such a range of folks that go to cosmetology school, but we're all doing it for that same purpose. We want that freedom. We want the time freedom. We want the financial freedom. We want the choice freedom to be able to do what we want when we want. And then if you're planning on doing that, you want to have a vision. You want to be crystal clear as to where you want to be in your life as well as in your business. And then use cosmetology school as the vehicle to help you get where you want to go. So focusing in, having the right mindset, making a commitment, and being consistent, and visualize every single time that I worked on my mannequin. I envisioned that mannequin was a client that was getting ready to pay me $200 a person. Boom, 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 $300, right? I just kept envisioning that, right? The more that you do that, the more you'll take this seriously, and the more you realize, yes, I need to treat every single person, every single head that I'm working on, with that kindness and respect. I would talk to my mannequin. People thought I was crazy. I don't care, because guess what? I got out of school in 7 months. I had some people, they'd be like, "Child, I don't feel like it today. I know I'm supposed to be here till 2, but I think I'm gonna leave at 12 today." And the next thing you know, they got all these hours to catch up on. Then you saw them on Saturday trying to catch up on hours when I was zooming ahead. I would zoom ahead. And then field trips that we'd have where you'd get the entire day, even if you didn't stay in the field trip for the whole day, I would go to those. Okay. And I'd stay maybe until 12 some of those times because I knew I was getting a full 8 hour credit. It's things like that. That's what you want to do. You want to have your plan in place as to how you're going to get things done. Okay. Because otherwise you'll slip into that deep abyss of madness, of distraction, which happened to a lot of people that I know. A lot of them ended up taking a leave of absence and never coming back ever. A lot of people got started with it. They got discouraged when they couldn't get something right the first time, and then you didn't see them anymore. It was like, I just saw them on Tuesday. Where'd they go? Oh, they withdrew. What? But we started on Monday. And it's Thursday. And like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, excuse me. So don't let yourself get wrapped up in the politics of school. Don't let yourself get wrapped up in being social. Like, don't worry about those things. Focus on why you're there. You're there for you. You're there for your family. Some of you are there for your kids. You definitely want to make sure that you get this done. Okay. So hopefully that has helped you. So one more time, those 5 steps are the right mindset, focus, consistency, commitment, and then vision. All right. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you have any questions or anything like that, make sure you put them in the comment. I will be checking back to see, what do you think about this? Has this helped you? Are there some other tips that you would add in to my 5 tips? Okay, let me know. And thank you guys so very much for watching. Inside the description box, you will also see where else you could find me on social media. I'm everywhere. Okay, so it should be easy to do. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.